Cathie Wood. She put out a fantastic video about tokenization. I'm going to try to cut out the really interesting clips, and there's a lot of them. Put them on X. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out. But, it's one thing when we're doing our regular transactions, it's hard to really see the pain points when you're trying to scale a blockchain. And everyone thinks, oh, you just need stable coins, and that's the answer to everything. And she tells you why at scale, from a institutional standpoint, it's not so easy. It's not so easy to just take your stable coins, zip your payments around, and it's, just this fantastic future of sunshine and rainbows. It don't work like that. And so she's really making the case for privacy, but what she doesn't know she's doing is she's making a case for XRP as well. So we're going to dig into that because I think it was a really good outlook from an actual institutional level, viewpoint, vantage point, crypto system, stablecoins, and the need for more than just that. Now, before we continue, it was a really sad day. I want to take a moment to recognize Darren Moore. He has passed away. And if you're new, you might not know as much about him, but he is a giant. The guy did these narrations, these just great, almost documentaries where he would blow anything I've ever done out of the water, get hundreds of thousands of views. Just a really creative, articulate, and one of the best researchers here in the XRP community. I don't know exactly what happened to Darren, but I was very, very sad to hear of his passing. And just one of the all-time greats in this space of really digging in there, getting the deep research and seeing the future and doing so in these very creative packages, man. The guy was a beast. Did some of the best work out there, and he will be missed and in a big, big way. Guy was a giant. So just wanted to pay some respects to him because he did some amazing work. This was huge news. Make no mistake, tentative deal to avoid shutdown. Now, it's not over. Nothing signed, but if we get this done, if we avoid a shutdown at the end of this month, and it can shut down for a day or two, no big deal. But if we go for a record-setting shutdown, you're not going to get crypto regs done, and they don't get done early. They probably don't get done because we're getting ready for midterms. You're just going to sink a lot of stuff in the economy, shut everything down. We've already been through this. We have to avoid this at all costs. This was actually the most bullish news of the day, but again, remember, it's not done yet. But if this happens and it's looking good, it looks like they're doing a deal here, that's going to save a lot of stuff, not just the crypto industry. This is important, and hopefully they get that done. Along with that, tomorrow, we're supposed to get the announcement of who will be the next Fed chair. We know there will be another Fed chair. Great, fine. But we get to hear who the announcement is. As long as it's someone that the markets respect, it's going to be great. You're going to see a lot of relief out there. It's not some kind of crony. It's a good pick, and I think it will be. That's going to bring a lot of confidence to markets, and it'll be time for Jerome Powell to get out of the way. And for nothing else, we want someone in here that's going to be here for a while that has a long-term plan and vision to execute as we come out of this tightening cycle. As we start getting loosey-goosey with the financial system, get things ripping and roaring again. Now, here it is. This is a video. And I like this quote here. Cathie Wood is saying, you know what? Stable coins without privacy, they don't work. And she says, do you remember R3? Now, she's talking about R3 back in the day, but R3 was this testing ground for banks and how do we upgrade the payment systems. And of course, Ripple was there, and JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs were original founders until they left, right? They were doing a lot of this stuff, and just R3 couldn't get it going. And part of the problem is when you're using stablecoins in a public blockchain, they start seeing those payments go, and guess what happens? If you're sending, say, USDC, and you're trying to trade it into pesos to make a payment, the market moves. And you have essentially slippage. It's not so. The markets don't just let you do your business, right? They will move against you. And so it makes it inefficient. And so she's making the point with her co-host that we need privacy. And that's true. Banks need to be able to move money around. Traders need to be able to make trades without everyone peeking in, seeing what you're doing. So privacy is important. But I'll tell you something, even with privacy, you start putting too much volume through there, the markets are going to move, even if it is privacy enabled. XRP, by the way, they're working on these solutions exactly. You have to have privacy, not secrecy, but privacy. But it's one other thing. Like I said, even if you have a lot of volume with privacy, you're going to move the markets. But with XRP Ledger, you have something special, some extra utility. What is it? Well, it's XRP, and it's the routing. And it is the fact that, guess what? If you're sending a payment and the market moves on RLUSD to yen, or RLUSD to peso, it can automatically route payments through XRP to yen, XRP to peso, XRP to tokenized gold to peso. It can do that automatic pathfinding, and it just gives you all sorts of hop, skips, and jumps to get to your final value. And that's something that every other chain has. And they're going to have these problems at scale when they're just jamming through stablecoins and stablecoins only. You're going to start moving markets, and it's going to be a problem. And you're going to have slippage, and you have this extra utility with XRP and the pathfinding algorithms where you can still get from RLUSD or any stablecoin to that end goal, but you can take a million different paths to get there, and it doesn't matter because it all happens autonomously, and it can help you efficiently get those payments through. As all our liquidity comes online, specifically being able to pipe into the Fed balance sheet, when you have that type of, on-ramp, just effortless money coming on and off, you can do whatever you want. On-chain, pathfinding algorithms, and XRP is the secret weapon here. Go on X, you'll hear it. And again, I'm going to get you more video clips out here tonight because this was a doozy. It had a lot of stuff about RWAs, tokenization, future blockchain. This was an excellent discussion. Wait till you hear these clips. I'll get them out shortly as soon as we're done recording here. Now, XRP is heating up, not the price. Price is not where we want it to be. I saw it earlier today. It was selling off a little bit. It was busy. Didn't get to see the specifics, but I saw it was going down a bit. The price is consolidating fine, but the XRP Ledger, it's breaking records. It's heating up in the areas that are indicators, real indicators, and that's on-chain activity. That's always going to be your guiding light here. And it's signaling that the network, it's more alive than ever with fundamentals reaching all-time high. First of all, network activity. We see we're surpassing 2 million transactions, peaking at about 2.5 million in the past when we've seen something similar. When we saw in 2025 average prices, average to be around 1.8 million, that preceded a massive God candle where we broke out to that 364. Might the same thing be building here? Sustained growth, the 14-day moving average is now over 1 million during a year-long resistance level. So we're seeing on-chain picking up. DeFi, TVL milestone, we're seeing 500 million, 100x growth in 2 years. So 500 million, you're not setting the world on fire, but it's the growth. That's what you're always looking for. The growth, that's the networks that are going to show the most money. Interoperability, of course, integration with Wormhole has opened the floodgates for cross-chain capital. RLUSD is surging, hitting 1.3 billion in market cap. And then to me, the biggest of all, the granddaddy of all of them, tokenization. It's not a future concept anymore. It was something that didn't even exist, wasn't even real just some time ago, and now it is surging. RWA value on the XRP Ledger, they're estimating it may hit as high as $6 billion by the end of this year, and that's going to be massive growth, and it's going to fuel value and growth on this blockchain. Keep an eye on those on-chain metrics. That's really going to show you where we're headed here. Now, Tom Lee today, he was on CNBC. He said, we had this massive run-up in precious metals. Moves in gold are typically a precursor to the crypto market. I mean, the biggest move in gold we've seen, right? Generational moves in the metals markets. And if that's the case, if that's the precursor, we should have some good action here within crypto. Tom Lee still believes we're recovering a bit from October crash, but we should catch our legs here and go on a big run. This is a lot of crypto traders right now. They're getting action in the metal market. I talk to a lot of people. Look, I don't mess with metals. I hold some, direct silver for fun, right? It's not my cup of tea. But I talk to a lot of people like, yeah, dude, I'm just trading in the metals market for right now. Fine, great. I think that is true, and that will start pivoting back to crypto. And I think pretty soon we will see. Lastly, big win for the XRP ecosystem. U.S. Court of Appeals, Ninth Circuit, has officially affirmed the dismissal of the longstanding class action suit against Ripple Labs. Essentially, you have 3 years to make a claim. What they were trying to argue is that Ripple reset the clock when they moved their XRP into escrow, and the courts was having none of it. They're like, that doesn't reset anything. This is an important precedent going forward that just because you do something like this, it doesn't change the substance of the network today. It doesn't reset the clock. It's not some sort of offering just because it's coming out of escrow. Now, we should get regulations that make this kind of not an issue, not a point, but you don't know. And we're stacking up these court wins really in law defining what XRP is. And unless we had, some reptilian write new laws that say XRP is a security, and they could do that. That's why we want to get the laws in the books now. We have the court backing us up, right? We don't want Elizabeth Warren in the future writing the rules. We won't like her rules. We don't like the rules today that are being proposed, but they're a heck of a lot better than what we may face down the road. Let's get it done. Let's get it codified. Let's get this thing over, but negotiate for DeFi protections, all of that stuff. Yay for that. And just get that thing into the law. That's the point. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.